Action.
Okay. Installation of the shower chair, assembly of the shower chair. Okay. When you're reading the instructions, number one, the first thing you will do is lay out the seat, get it oriented the correct way. Then you need to determine which of these legs go where. They have numbers on the bottom, 1, 2, 1, 2. Note that on your left side, you will have number 2 on the back, number 1 on the front, number 1 on the back, number 2 on the front. So orient your legs correctly or you're going to have to take it apart. Number 2, when you put your pieces together, you will hand tighten first. Do not tighten too tight because you have to move pieces around to be able to get it installed. There are different length screws, and there are also washers. As you will notice, there are washers. When you're doing when using the instructions, the washers are not explained until step 9. However, you need them beginning in step 6. So anytime you put a screw in, make sure you use a washer, so don't have to take it apart again. Let's see. So we're going to kind of explain from this point forward. We have the back 2 legs installed. You will use a short screw at this point in the back, and you will use a long screw in the back section to hold the leg in and the back to the leg. The back itself is held in place by these screws that have the gray heads. So that's what screws into the back itself to hold it to the support. The cross members fold. So as you will see, when they come out of the box, they are folded such. You unfold and it will click into place using the buttons, or what they call the marbles. The cross members have 2 pieces. There's one that has a short stub and there's one that has a longer stub. The longer stub goes on the bottom so that when you put your screw into it, it will reach further through. You cannot do it the opposite way, so it only goes one way. Once you install this button into this piece, it's very hard to remove without a second set of hands, so be aware. These cross members support the entire chair. So we're going to finish installing or assembling the chair and put it together from this point forward. So again, we take our front leg. This is number 1. It goes in this slot right here. There's actually a 1 on the bottom of the chair. So there is a hole right here with a threaded screw. We're going to go ahead and make it simpler by going ahead and getting this cross member installed here, because it's harder to do with it installed. So there we are. We take our screw with the washer, insert it into the leg and into the threaded portion at the bottom of the chair. Hand tighten with your fingers until you get it to where it will not come back out. So it's snug, it's not going anywhere. We're going to take leg number 2, which actually says number 2 on the bottom of the chair. We're going to insert the cross member into this leg. The buttons will engage, the marbles, what they call it. You take your screw and your washer. The washers are curved so that they fit around the tubing. You line up the screw hole with the screw. You want to get it started. Finger tighten so that it doesn't come back out. I think. Just screw here. You just want it to be snug. You don't want it to be tight. So these 2 screws are in. The cross members are installed. It's not completed yet. Now, the next thing is you have the center. I don't know what this is called, but it holds your legs in the center of the chair together. So it fits on like so. It has a short screw that goes through it. You align it with the legs of the chair. It only goes one way. You start your screw into the seat. Get it just started. Again, you don't want to tighten too much. You just want to get it snug because you're going to come back later and complete the tightening process. So it's in there. Everything is assembled in the bottom portion. Now, between your cross members, again, there's a threaded hole here that goes through each cross member. You start this screw with the gray head. This holds the cross members, which secures the chair and the legs so that they don't spread apart in use. So you finger tighten it snug. This needs to be snug. Then at this point, you can go back and tighten all of your screws. When you're tightening your screws, do not over tighten, because these are threaded receivers inside of this plastic seat, and if you over tighten, you could strip it. So just make sure they're all snug. Back here, work your way around to each screw, and again, finger tighten. Don't just get them snug. It's not gonna come undone. Snug each screw. This one's really loose. Okay, all right, so now the chair is assembled. We have to put the legs on. The legs are adjustable. You have multiple heights. I think they're 1-inch increments. The legs have a slant, you'll notice, and they only go in one way. But the slant allows the chair, when it's sitting on the flat surface, or like the shower or the tub, to sit evenly. So your marble or your button pops out when you get it to the first level. So get each one installed, and then after they're installed, you can adjust the height based on the patient's need. So boom. And the last leg there. So all of our legs are installed. The chair is now, at this point, the chair is assembled. So turn it over. There is your shower chair. Again, it can be adjusted, modified based on the patient's need. This style chair is different than most of the chairs that you see out there. Most have a solid surface. This one does have a, I'm going to call it a orifice or a receptacle, I guess. For in case the patient has an accident. That way they're not having to remain seated and whatever. The armrests themselves are angled. You can notice that they are angled. You can put it inside or outside, it doesn't matter. However, when you put them on, I would recommend so that it's angled to the outside, gives them a little more hip room. These are not required. So if you have a patient that is, let's say they are too wide due to obesity or whatever to fit in the chair, you can remove the armrest. Or if you just do not need them for whatever reason, I would recommend them being used, but they're not mandatory. Again, you want it to be so that it's angled outward. It will go the other way, however. So you push your marbles or buttons until it slides down into the receiver, and it will lock in place. Shower chair installed. Yay. The chair itself comes with, I didn't bring it here. There are foam pads that will fit on this chair that you can adhere to the seat and to the back to make it a little more comfortable. They're adhesive. I would make it patient specific. This is textured, so it does give you some grip so that you don't slide easily. The comfort, they do have holes also for drain. There are drain holes built into the chair, which is a nice feature. When you put the pads, if you use the adhesive pads that fit on these, you make sure that the holes in the pad and the hole in the seat are lined up. Otherwise, you're going to stop up the hole and it's not going to be used. So you want to make sure that the holes, the indentions that are in the black pads are also removed and matched to that. Again, it's not required to use the black padding that comes with it. You can use it as it is. Once it's installed in this manner, you would put it into the patient's tub or shower, and you want to adjust it to the patient height. You want to make sure that the patient, when they're seated, that they, number one, it's comfortable, that they feel safe, that it's, have them test it out, try it out. And you want to adjust the height so as to promote ease to stand. If it's too low or too high, they could have more problems. So you want to make sure that the height of the chair is sufficient for effective use and increases their stability and balance. The armrests are a good feature just to give them security when they're going to a standing position. I always recommend that they also have a grab bar, something so when they do come to a standing position, they have something else to hold on to. The chair is very secure, very stable. It's very comfortable. So I would say, based on just me sitting in it, I'm right at 5'10", 5'11". So I would say somebody that's 6 foot, maybe 6'1", would be comfortable. Anybody taller than that, this chair probably is not recommended because you can only adjust the height. This is as tall as it gets. As far as if somebody's shorter, you still can make it shorter quite a bit. So somebody probably 5 foot tall could use this chair easily and the legs would still fit. Another thing, when you're installing it in your tub, and a lot of people don't understand or realize this, typically your tubs have a curvature in the bottom and they're also slanted. So the position of the legs will be adjusted based on how the slope and the slant of the tub itself is. So you may have your setting of your legs at one height in the front and one height at the back. That's where you as a clinician have to go in and assess what is best for the patient after you've assessed the fit. Assess the fit on a flat surface. Don't assess the fit in the tub. You want to get it measured first, then you install it in the tub, and then once the patient transfers, at least you know the height is appropriate. You don't want to be adjusting the height after they're in a tub setting. So, good chair, solid, very sturdy. I feel secure, and I would highly recommend the chair.